Welcome to San Diego's Best and Brightest. I'm Beck Bamberger. Being green, you hear about it all the time, but how do we know which companies are green, where they're going, and is San Diego a place that will soon be the leader in green technology and companies? With me today is Dr. Rob Wilder, who has a lot of expertise in this area. He's a professor and author and is the CEO of some funds and indexes, which are now the leading ones here in San Diego. Dr. Rob, let me just start with first a definition. An index is a statistical analysis of what a group of stocks are doing to represent a whole market, let's say, like the Dow Jones. And you have created the first green energy technology index, the Green Energy Fund, which we call ECO. So first question is, why did you go to create this fund, being a professor, and now having this fund, which is now Wall Street's leading and first index with $1.5 billion in assets?
Well, Beck, being an academic professor is wonderful. It really is great. But I wasn't having the actual practical applied impact that I really sought. And there was no way at the time before I had done this, no way to capture and track clean energy as a single thematic basket. And so what I was trying to do in part was to create an investment vehicle, but also in part to actually, like I say, capture and track, to show, to expose, to shed light on the prospects and how well clean energy was doing.
So why, Rob, did you make this transition, again, from a professor to doing this?
Well, part of it was a frustration that there was no way to be able to invest in clean energy other than to invest in single stocks, and that was very risky and very volatile. So, for example, when I was a professor, an assistant professor, I had invested a small amount of money in solar and had two stocks. There were only two stocks available. And as it turned out, one went out of business and the other went up 3, 4, 5-fold. And I couldn't tell when I was ready to invest which one would do well and which wouldn't, as it turned out. And so it occurred to me that if there was a basket of many of these stocks put together, that return as a function of risk would be improved. That is, as an investor, I would do better because I wouldn't go to zero with the one that went bankrupt and the one that would go up 5-fold, 6-fold, 10-fold, as some have done, even 20 and 30-fold, would more than make up for the difference.
Since launching the index in 2004, Rob, and then also the fund, which people can invest into now, called the Power Shares Wilder Here Clean Energy Portfolio, Wall Street has used both to really track and see the benchmark for where green energy companies are going. CNN Money, Forbes, USA Today, these are just a couple people that are asking you questions. So do you think this attention is validation to the companies, to the investors, to who, do you think?
Well, the most important thing, I think, to people, other than their families, of course, is money. And when $1.5 billion goes into a fund, I think that is to some extent validation. So on the one hand, the size of the fund that tracks our index indicates it is being taken seriously, that these organizations like USA Today or Newsweek or you know, the major organizations, CNBC, media would cover us to the extent that they do. And I probably get 2, 3, 4 calls a day from reporters.
Being green, green energy, ego consciousness, it seems like these are terms we hear in the media all the time, Rob, and that companies claim to be quite often. So do you think that this green buzz is hype, similar to what we have seen in the dot-com boom and bust?
A lot of it is. I'm just going to tell you, when the origins are in a marketing department or a PR department at an existing firm, and this happens probably more than a person would like to admit, it's quite prevalent, where it's a spin of an existing product. We call it greenwashing, and there's a lot of that.
Greenwashing.
Greenwashing. And so, you know, if an oil company, for example, wants to talk about how much they're concerned about their carbon footprint, at the end of the day, their stock price still moves as an oil company, putting aside all the media expenditures they're putting out there.
Rob, you believe San Diego is in part situated to become a leader in hosting and having these green technology companies in solar and wind technology, even cars, electrical cars. Why is that?
We have some attributes that are built in. Everybody wants to live here. You know, go around the country, ask people, would you live in San Diego if you could start a company there? Yes. We have some world-class universities. You know, not only the academic research side, which would be a University of California, San Diego, which is basic research. We also have a more applied aspect with San Diego State. We've got some other smaller universities, University of San Diego, where I attended. We also have something that people have overlooked in the past, but I think in the future will be more cognizant of, which is ocean power. That could be wave power, it could be tidal power. So the ocean has embedded within it a lot of untapped potential energy. It's right there, waiting, just like wind 20 years ago, 30 years ago wasn't being tapped. Wave power in the future. Go out to the deserts, not only do we have solar, but we have geothermal. You can go out into areas of the region, you can tap geothermal, like I say, wind, solar, in areas that are uninhabited but get lots of wind, lots of solar. So, you put it all together, and basically we've been hitting way below our weight. We could punch far above our weight in the future.
Rob, what would you say to aspiring executives who want to do a green company or are considering maybe investing in a green company?
Well, probably the most important thing is it has to be authentically green. There's a lot, like I mentioned, a lot of greenwashing, and you have to really not go there. If you do get genuinely green, and I want it to be as absolutely green to the farthest end of that spectrum as I could, I think that's the way to start. A lot of intellectual integrity and honesty behind the product. I think it shows. People are smart. People will understand that. They'll get that.
Well, Dr. Rob, thank you for being here today. This was great. Catch us next time on San Diego's Best and Brightest. I'm Beck Bamberger. Thanks for watching.